Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a little deep dive on how I do my brows. I thought I could walk you through my favorite 3 products and how I use them. So I wanted to go ahead and jump in and we can talk about all the things I use to do my brows every day. So I always start off with, it's actually a MAC eyeshadow. It's a matte eyeshadow called Espresso. And clearly this one has been loved a lot. I'm almost done with it, but still a lot of life in her, so I'm gonna continue to use it. No waste, no waste. But I like using eyeshadows because I find that they're just kind of easier to work with, where it's still very pigmented, but you can really build on it. So you can start off light and have it be light, but then you can build and make it darker and darker depending on how you like for it to look. But other brow products like pomades or brow powders are kind of more waxy, and I find that I never kind of like am able to like build it up to exactly how I'd like it to look. And I found that eyeshadow is very pigmented but very easy to use and can be light or dark, and it just comes in such a big pan for a decent price. I'll be sure to link the one that I use below, but Espresso is like a nice dark brown color that I've been using for a long time now. So I go ahead and jump in. I'm using an angled brush by MAC right now. This one is like a shorter angled one that I actually got from one of their holiday travel brush gift sets. And another one that I'll be using today is the MAC 208, and you'll see it's another angled brush, but it's just a little bit smaller in size comparison. So you'll see there. I'll be sure to link these below so you can purchase them if you would like. But I'm gonna start off with the one that's a little bit wider because I like to start with the tail ends of my brows first. I actually like to kind of build, do the tail end on each side first, and then I do the center, and then I do the front. Again, this is just what works for me. I don't like to do one brow all at once because I feel like it's harder to kind of like make sure that they match. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So I'm just dipping the brush into the powder, and I like to do it here on one of these compacts because I've gotten into the habit of being able to like see really up close. So I like doing it this way. So all right, so I'm just dipping it in there, and then I'm gonna start with the ends, and I always start with the line underneath the eyebrow first, because where you're gonna want the darkest part of your eyebrow is the underline underneath, because that is naturally where your brow would be darker because that's where the brow hairs grow from. And then you could always lightly build the color up. And I think it just looks a little bit more natural when it's not like a harsh line carving out the top, but I like how it looks when it's a sharp line carving out the bottom. And then I'm just going to lightly fill in the end, moving upwards. A good rule of thumb of where you want your eyebrow to end is from the edge of your nose to the outer corner of your eye. Take like a brush or a pencil, and then you're going to want to kind of measure that, and that's about where you want your eyebrow to end. You don't really want it shorter than that or much longer than that. It's kind of just like where you want it to frame your face. All right, now, so I like this end so far. I like to make sure it's kind of like equidistant away from the outer corner of my eye here. All right, and then I'm going to move over to the left side, starting from underneath and then working my way up. See how the top is a little bit lighter than the bottom there? Because I'm not really dipping back into the color, I'm just building it up and then working with what I have left in the brush to fill out the top, because I want the top to be softer. And again, wanting the brow to end about right where my nose, my eye, and then the end of my brow. Cool. So I kind of have the ends where I want them. So then I'm gonna go in and start the middle now. And again, I do the same thing where I draw out the line pretty dark underneath to carve out the shape. I'm gonna leave about a centimeter, or like the very beginning of my eyebrow open right now, and I'm gonna go back there and I'll tell you why. Getting a little bit more product, and instead of like filling it in from the top, I'm really going to start to just do like brush strokes up to kind of make sure that it's like not perfectly colored in, but just kind of filling up the bald areas. And really just use the color and go in the direction that your hair is naturally growing, or where your hair would naturally grow. Okay, I'm gonna go over to the left side now. And then yes, I'm filling it, starting to fill in the direction where my hair is growing. Okay, and then now when I'm starting on the front area, I'm going to move you to using the smaller angled brush. Again, the 208 by MAC. And I'm gonna get it in the product again. And then this is where I like to really just be intentional about where I draw in the hairlines, because I really want to give the illusion of like really thick bushy brows. So getting product on the brush, and then being intentional about where I draw the hair strokes. I find that I like hold my breath because it's like so serious. Remember to breathe. So I just drew in the hair strokes in the front, get a little bit more product, and then I'm going to do the same thing along the brow. So see how it gives it the illusion that it's much thicker, fluffier brow. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And I got a little bit more fluffy, fuller looking brows. Okay, and then I'm going to move on the second product that I like using. This is the Kat Von D Signature Brow Pencil. And one side is a little spoolie where you can use it to brush out your brow hairs. And then, oops. And then the other side is the pencil. The reason why I like this one, it's not your standard round pencil, it's flat. So how it's like wide on one side, and then you turn it and it's flat. It makes it really easy to use it to kind of like fill in the kind of bald areas that you might be missing in your brow to get even more hair strokes and even more definition. So again, I'm just gonna go in with the Kat Von D Signature Brown Pencil. I use the color Walnut, which is like a dark brown, almost black. And I'm just gonna go in and fill in little tiny hair strokes as well. And maybe fill in any kind of like bald areas that I feel like the eyeshadow didn't kind of get as dark or covered as much as I wanted. Yes, yes. Okay, and then the last product, I promise just the 3 products, is the Milk Makeup Kush Fiber Brow Gel. It is like a little spoolie on this one as well. The color I'm using is Grind. Again, another like really dark brown, almost black. And then I use this to brush this through the brow. And I really like this because I feel like it really adds a little bit more pigment to your natural brow hairs, kind of brushes them out so they go in the direction that you want them to go. And it really just gives me those like thick, bushy brows that I'm going for. And just kind of exaggerate the direction that your natural hairs are going. So these ones I'm like really pushing up. These ones I'm pushing to the side a little bit. And then the ends, I am kind of following it down. But yeah, I introduced this product to some of my friends recently and they all really loved it. It does really add that little something to your brows. A little bit more color, a little bit more fluff. This one is a little bit on the liquidy side. I feel it drying and then it causes my eyebrows to stay where I brush them to, and it's pigmented too, so it adds a little bit of color. So these are my 3 products. Hopefully you like how my brows turned out. And remember, I hear people say this all the time, we don't want the brows to be twins, they should be sisters. So from however we were born, you know, our brows weren't perfectly symmetrical, but personally I like things that are symmetrical. So I want these to be, you know, very close. I don't want them to be cousins, I don't want them to be best friends. I want them to be like maybe fraternal twins, not necessarily identical twins, but like close looking siblings, you know? So hopefully you liked these tips. I'll be sure to add these things that I used today in the description box below in case you wanted to try some of them out yourself. The brows are very, very important. Whenever I get a compliment on mine, it's seriously the nicest thing anybody could ever say to me. But I just really feel like it frames your face, kind of sets the tone of everything. And yeah, so hopefully you like these tips, and please give these products a try and leave me any questions and comments below. Please subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell so you know when my next videos come up. But thank you so much for stopping by today, and hopefully these tips helped you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!